Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness, day one of 365. This is season 2 of the Journey to Greatness, and I am pretty excited to be back with everybody here today. We are going to be starting our regimen as we always do. We're going to continue building the set out, and I'm actually really excited to get started for season 2. Season 1, I think, was a great success. We were able to network with quite a few people. We were able to, really destroy and dominate all of our goals that we've done. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm blessed to be here. So I'm grateful to be here. So we're gonna get into this meditation routine first, and then I'm contemplating on what to read. So maybe it'll come to me during our meditation routine. So I want this to be a journey of building the mind. So this year, in this season 2, we're really going to focus on building the mind and building our understanding of the mind. Because it's like, well, how do you create all these dreams? Like, how do you manifest your reality, David? Well, it starts with a number of things, like the way that you think about yourself, your self-confidence, and etc. So what I really want to do is build the mind, is understanding like how the brain works, because the more that we can push the understanding of how the brain works, the better we will be in terms of manifesting in reality and the life that we deserve to live, right? And so I really want to dive deep into that. Yesterday, I was able to start reading this book called Ninja Selling, and when I was on the airplane coming home from the convention I was at, which, by the way, was absolutely mind-blowing. But this book actually has my attention grabbed really, really tightly right now. And I'm ready on page 50, but I might just continue this book and then we can just talk about it at the end of our session. So the other book I'm thinking about is The Law of Divine. And this is my sister Cami gave this to me. I think this is going to be a really good book also. But let's see what we come up. Imelda, good morning. Carl, good morning. Welcome back. Joseph, Amy, Liz, AJ, good morning, everybody. Okay, so let's jump into this meditation routine, and I will see you all on the other side. $38. Let me see. Okay, so 523, 538, and 553. 554 now. Okay, 24. 39. All right. Okay. All right, everybody, welcome back. Yeah, thanks. The music is cool. I need to find some non-copyrighted music in order to use this stuff. So yeah, that'll be mission to do here soon. Okay, so welcome back. We just finished our meditation routine, and now we're going to get into our thing. I can't remember. Was it journaling routine first or reading routine? All right. Journaling routine, reading routine. I'll have to go back and revisit that. It's been 30 days, and it's still 5 o'clock in the morning. All right. Let's get into our. Let me see here. Let's get into our journaling routine, and I think that's the natural execution. But I need to get my new journal, so I will be back with you guys in a moment. Okay. And top of the morning, Eric. Thank you, sir. Thank you, fine sir. All right. So, welcome back. So we just finished our journaling routine, and I think we're supposed to do our reading routine first, but we did our journaling routine, so I think that's okay. Good morning, cuz. Top of the morning. Welcome back to you too. Thank you. Um, so we're going to get into this book called Ninja Selling, and it's written by Larry Kendall. And if you don't know who that is, I didn't know who he was too either until I opened the back end of the book. So, um, Larry Kendall was a kid who, back in the I think the 70s or the 50s, long story short, had a disease, or some type of cancer. Excuse me for butchering this because I already started reading the book, but Larry Kendall, um, hold that thought. Let's get into this reading routine, and I will catch up with you guys here. Um, and I will catch up to you guys here. I'm torn, you guys. I'm torn. 30 seconds to think about what I'm gonna do. I like this book a lot, Ninja Selling, and I think this hits on a lot of really really key points, like what we should be focusing on. I think I know, uh, but I already started it, and so I just don't know if I should continue this book or start a book from the very beginning. Okay, I'll just catch you guys up. Let's see how good my summarizing skills are. I'll see you on the other side. Do all this. Ha, that's a great question. I think we all are. Okay. Okay, we got 6 minutes. I don't want to take too much of everybody's time. Love you, sister. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so this gentleman, Larry Kendall, in this book, Ninja Selling, it was originally written for the ultimate real estate professional, but soon thereafter, he was able to see that investment banker, business people, like-minded entrepreneurs were able to resonate and take something, draw something from this book, Ninja Selling. Okay, so when he was a kid, he was diagnosed. This is the author. He was diagnosed with this disease. I don't know the name. I don't know the name of the disease, but he was diagnosed with this, which essentially, allowed him not to learn at the capacity as other people. And so his mom, which actually I'm reminded now, we read a book called Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. He had a son. Napoleon had a son who had a disorder, and his Napoleon, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Napoleon was that guy. But excuse me if I'm butchering it. But long story short, Napoleon actually coached his son and held the space for his son to grow into being a genius that he knew he was. And so it's a similar story with Larry Kendall. His mother was the big influential factor in his life and told him, don't worry, you have a speech impediment, but don't worry, you'll grow out of it. Don't worry, you have a learning disability, quote unquote. I'm not going to treat you as if you do, right? I'm going to treat you as if you're normal and everything is right. Again, very, very, very important things, especially, for kids when they're building, their ability to think, when they're building their genius. And, you want to create that supportive environment, I think, for all people, because it's never too old to change. But as a kid, it's really powerful stuff. So not long story short, we got like 40 pages to cover here. I don't know if I'll get through everything. But long story short, you have the ninja way. And the ninja way is described as, back in the old days, there were samurai, back in like the old, like Chinese dynasty days, or Japan, excuse me. Back in Japan, they had samurais, and samurais would be like the gatekeepers essentially to the kingdom. And so the king would hire the samurais to protect the kingdom. Well, the samurais started to get really cocky, and weren't humbling themselves any longer. And so the king started to become worried. He said, oh, well, if you guys feel like, you are God's gift to green earth, which you guys are, protecting the kingdom, I need to have or create another round of protection for me, because I feel like you guys might turn against me. So at that moment, the king then started training these warriors at night. And so they would have to train in silence. And they became so good at their craft that they could move and complete an operation, assassinate somebody, or kidnap somebody, or do something, good for somebody, whatever it was. But they would do it so well that they would go undetected and unnoticed. And so long story short, let me not say that again. Ninja selling is pretty much about perfecting your craft and executing at a very high level. And so that's what the book talks about. Now, of course, we're going to run into the same truths that we've ran into in all of the other 7 books that we read. And the 4 principles of this book are personal mastery, which is what we're doing right now, season 2. And in my opinion, is the number 1 rule to success. The moment that we have personal mastery is the moment that we start creating and manifesting our lives at a very, very high degree. Principle 2 is stop selling and start solving. And this idea is one that's very familiar to me. You don't sell product. And I just learned this from the convention I was at in Dallas. Don't sell product. People don't want to be sold a product. They want their solutions to be solved. So if you're in sales, or if you're thinking about starting a company, always remember that. Principle 3 is ninja business strategy. So they're going to actually teach us about that specific ninja business strategy. And then principle number 4 is connect and communicate. And so pretty much ninja is built around the science of the customer, what customers value and how they make their decisions to get it. Ninjas are very humble. Ninjas are forever grateful. That is very, very important. And we've been in a state of gratitude for the last year, for pretty much our whole lives, but intentional state of gratitude where I can speak for myself, where I've noticed, where I'm just like, man, I lay down to sleep and I'm like, thank you, God, thank you, universe, for blessing me with these blankets to pull over my body. Thank you for this bed that I get to rest my head in and rejuvenate my body and my energy. Just constant states of, gratitude throughout everything that we do on a daily basis. So ninjas are built that way. And we are ninjas. Wow. Hence the headband. No, I'm just joking. I'm just having a bad hair day. Okay, so let me see here. So ninjas versus samurais. We talked about. Okay. So Pareto's principle is a principle that the book, and I'm really speeding through this. So increase your income per hour. There are a lot of. Okay, so the most the way that will generate the highest income per hour. Have you ever heard of Pareto's principle? It is sometimes called the 80-20 rule. Vilfred Pareto, look him up, was an Italian economist who discovered that 20% of the world's population enjoys 80% of the world's wealth. 20% of the world's population enjoys 80% of the world's wealth. Why? He later confirmed the 80-20 principle is at work in most areas of life. 20% of the land produces 80% of the food. 20% of the plant's produce, 80% of the oxygen, and so on. Pareto's also proved that 80% of our results come from just 20% of our activities. He called these activities the vital few. Two excellent books on this subject are the 80-20 principle and Living the 80-20 Way by Richard Koch. Now, what I'm realizing in these books, in these self-help books primarily, is that they drop a lot of gems and a lot of information, things that we should do in order to align with the book and what it's trying to teach us, the different principles, right? So what I've done is, or what I might suggest that you do also is, in the beginning of each book, I actually write down like all the books and every article that they suggest us to read, because every book for the most part has like the first couple of pages that are blank. And then on the next page, I write the actual activities of what they're asking us to do. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's a little gem that you might take. Okay, so 80-20 rule. So pretty much what it's suggesting here, the book is figure out what things in your life are producing at a high quality. 20% of what you do produces 80% of your outcome. And so figuring out what the most effective vital few, as Pareto, says, is really important. Okay. Oh man, this book is so freaking awesome, you guys. There's so many good stories in here. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going though. Try to get through this. Okay. So I'm on like chapter 10. But I started reading. Okay, so one of the main things here in the book is when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. There are teachers all around you, and there are people who are all around you. It's really important to tap into those people and be in the mindset of receiving a mentor or receiving a teacher. We could do all this on our own, but as we said time and time again, it's really beneficial to us to learn from those who have taken the journey already, and for those who may not have taken the journey but just may be in a world of wisdom. So it just depends on what kind of mentor you're looking for, but it's important to define it. And when you are ready to be a student, then the teacher will arrive, and it'll come like this when you least expect it. So it's really important because some of the most influential athletes, they're able to perform at a peak performance state, and that's pretty much the reason why we do the journey of greatness. And I'll tell you what some of those changes are going to look like. So the journey to greatness, we want to perform at a really, really high performance state, and the way that we do that is by hiring a coach. So, for example, in my real estate business, I'm at a point where I've grown my business, to a multi-million-dollar sale, business, which is awesome. But the thing is it's not, coming from a state of gratitude. You're not just focused about the sales. You're thinking about retention. You're thinking about, I'm thinking about honoring my clients that have allowed me to represent them in a transaction. How do I constantly give back to them, right? So I'm always thinking about how to perform in a high peak state. And so one of the ways to do that, or one of my next moves, ideally, would be to hire a coach, somebody who specializes, or a business development coach, somebody who specializes in growing business and acumen in the industry that you're involved in. So Ninja Selling is born. This is all the intro. Okay, so personal mastery. Stuart Emery's simple 4-paragraph treatise on mastery has a profound impact on my life and the lives of my partners in the Group Inc. So the Group Inc. is a really big real estate firm that has graduated over like 50,000 ninja warriors who study this philosophy in this book all across the nation. And, tons of testimonials, really, really impactful stuff. So this agent, or this gentleman, Larry Kendall, he has a very successful real estate business, and he's grown it based off of these principles. So if you know, and I learned this in the seminar over the weekend, or this convention I was at in Dallas, again, which was mind-blowing. But there's somebody who, if you see somebody pretty much in a position, right, and you're like, wow, I think, I want to aspire to be better in my life. How do I do that? You tap in with that person, right? And it's all up to that person whether or not they can receive and give back the energy in a reciprocal exchange, right? Because at times, I'm not in a place necessarily to receive energy. I need to, keep my energy for myself so that I can stay focused on what I'm planning and what I'm doing, right? And so, you can tap into other people, but it's just a matter of asking. So mastering personal self. Our world suffers from terminal normality. I was inspired here. Our world suffers from terminal normality. I am sitting at 220 pounds. Not bad, right? But I'd prefer to be like maybe 210 or 215. 210. Let's say 205 to 210. And as I was reading this book yesterday on the airplane, I remember, and I snapped back to this idea that somebody told me, you are just beefy. You're just a big guy. You kind of hold that weight. That's BS. And I said that to myself yesterday on the airplane. And in that comics, I remember I caught myself. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I am kind of like a bigger guy. So I can expect to be around 215. That's total BS. Total BS. And I had to wipe that clean out of my conscious. So this book is redefining what it means to talk about or refer to as the subconscious. Subconscious would mean that it's below the actual level of consciousness. See, our brains are broken up into 3 parts. One is the consciousness. One is the non-conscious, which is what scientists use now. So it's not a subservient. That's the recorder that happens in your brain. The things that your brain is always processing without any judgment. And then there's there's one other one, and I'll get to that. But long story short, normality, terminal normality. So be mindful of, the people obviously that you're hanging around with, and be mindful of the labels that people put on you and what you agree with, because you can definitely change everything about yourself by reprogramming yourself. And that's what this book is going to help us do, in addition to all the other things that we've done. So the 3 major keys of personal mastery is your mindset. How do you run your brain? What is your mental programming? Do you have the ability to focus, to control your thoughts and your energy? Ninja Principle 1 will help you develop the mental programs and focused energy to achieve your life and business goals. Number 2 skill set. The next step to mastery is technical excellence in your chosen field and commitment to that excellence. The way to be super good at what you do is to be really well versed in what you do. So you got to study it. You got to get your acumen up. If it's, the way that you talk, if it's the way that you write, if it's the way that you think, you have to get your technical skills up to par with the national average, whatever that is, right? Just be really good at it, and find ways to school yourself. Find ways to test yourself to see where you fit on that comprehensive scale. Your actions, most importantly, other than your mindset, you can think about everything that you want. You can write down everything that you want, but it means nothing if you don't execute. Okay, so you may have the skills and be taking the right actions, but if you bring the wrong energy or attitude to the game, your mindset will override the 2. So the most important out of the 3 skills is your mindset. The most important thing out of everything is your mindset, because everything starts with your mindset. And you get to choose whether you want to be a player or whether you want to be a victim. To be a player in this book, it defines as being someone who is able to overcome adversity, somebody who's able to overcome challenges or situations or experiences very quickly, and then reroute their brain down the road of not being a victim, focusing on what they want, not focusing on not what they want, right? Which is the victim mentality. Always, things are always happening to me. Oh, everything's against me, and blah 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 blah. The victim, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not the healthiest. It's not a healthy space for me to be in, and frankly, I'd never want to ever be there. So recognize what you are and then try to reprogram. So one of the most powerful methods to program your mind is to use positive affirmations stated in the first person. And we've talked about this. The music that you listen to, the books that you read, the journals, or the time that you spend developing yourself internally and physically, and the people that you have around you, all are going to affect the way your affirmations resonate within you. So knowing that you are a millionaire before anybody else knows, before your reality even knows it, your physical self even sees it, right? Your consciousness can even comprehend it. Your non-conscious is or this other one that's down here is actually processing that you are a millionaire. So knowing that you are before you even arrive, right, is one of the hardest things I hear people tell me is to figure out how if I don't have $1 million in my bank account, how do I walk around like I'm a millionaire? You have that's where the mindset, that's the most important thing. If so, that's applied to everything that you can think of. So the ninja mindset. We all have the power to manifest good vibrations. So your vibe. As a human, I am both the sender and receiver of energy. I broadcast energy at a frequency based on what I'm thinking and I'm feeling. Others receive this energy and call it my vibe. So understand you're always putting out energy. Overstand that you have a vibe. Overstand that your emotional and your physical they coincide with one another. And so if you feel like you're stuck, get up and move. Go out and run. Exalt some energy. Get it out of your system so that you can recalibrate your energy. Being a player in the game, being a player in life, which means being a productive, positive thinking, optimistic individual, means taking responsibility for everything that happens to you. And that's the way that you stay away from the victim mentality. So being a victim means, oh, woe is me. Everything is always happening to me. Rather than wallow about, what's happening to you, focus on what great you have done. Focus on all the positive things that are in your life. Taking full responsibility for everything that happens to you is a little bit of a bridge to cross. Pause. Is the bridge to cross into being a player of life, and rather than being a victim. Control your thoughts, control your feelings, your emotional energy, and you will control your vibe. So the way that you control your vibe is by controlling your thoughts. And one of the ways that you can control your thoughts is by journaling. One of the ways you control your thoughts is by meditating. One of the ways you can control your thoughts is by reading books that, help push your affirmations deeper inside of you. Ninjas are masters of creating, sending, and receiving good vibrations. Ninjas are masters of creating, sending, and receiving zero vibrations. Make your life a zero tolerance for negativity. Make your life a zero tolerance for people who don't see more for themselves than their current state. Make your life zero tolerance zone for anything that does not align with who you are as a woman, as a man, and any other. Okay, so we're cruising through this right now. And I'm only going to hit like maybe 3 more pages. And I should be able to catch us up by the end of the week. Okay, so people and their opinions can affect how you feel about yourself. It's important to pay attention to your thoughts and your energy. That thought, that idea that I wrote down actually stemmed from that idea of somebody telling me, oh, you sit at 220. You have a big frame, so you sit at 210 or 215, 220. Again, nah, it's not going to work for me. Controlling your emotional energy. Your emotional energy ranges from negative to positive and from low to high. As a result, you are in one of the 4 quadrants when you are awake. High positive, which is the top left quadrant. High negative. Okay. Anger, fear, frustration, revenge, negative expectation. Low negative, which is the lower end, bottom left end of the quadrant. Sadness, guilt, depression, aloneness, negative expectation. And then on the top right of the quadrant, you have high positive, which is where you want to try to stay at all times. That's a player mentality. And when I say player, I don't like that word. That is a high vibrate. No, I don't like that word. I like that word, but I don't like the way it sounds. A player in life. Let's just say being a I don't know. I'll let it come to me. So high positive, happiness, inspiration, confidence, love, positive expectation. And then the bottom right quadrant is low positive, contentment, relaxation, safety, love, and positive expectation. So high negative, low negative, high positive, low positive, right? It's a quadrant. So player and victim quadrants. My observation is that players tend to live most of their lives in the high and low positive quadrants. They will have occasional episodes where they find themselves in the negative quadrants because they are human and stuff happens. But they don't stay there very long. They learn from their experience, adjust, and move back to the positive quadrants. They have what we call response ability and the ability to respond. Their experience on the dark side is only an episode. Victims, on the other hand, tend to live most of their lives in the negative quadrants. When something happens in their life that causes anger or depression, they move to the negative quadrants and seem to get stuck there. They don't have a response ability and can't seem to find their way back to the positive side. Their negative energy and vibe start a feedback loop that affects their relationship with all of those around them. So really, really important. All this stuff that we've been talking about for the last year is really important to, really pay attention to. And so to end today, we're on page 20. So we cruise through 20 pages. You pick up subtle and hidden nuances. You are very connected to your client and what is going on. You feel in control and confident in your skills and your ability to help your customer make good decisions. You are in a peak performance state. 1 second. You tie that around. Okay, so how do you move yourself into a peak performance state? First, you need to have proven process that delivers predictable results. Second, you need to develop your skills to deliver the process confidently. And third, you need to use a pre-game ritual to help you focus and perform at your best. So that is the intro of ninja selling. And so next or tomorrow, we will get into rituals. We will talk about rituals, and I will continue reading the book. Hopefully, probably by Saturday, I'll be able to catch us up to chapter 12. But if you're thinking about reading a book, I'm telling you right now that this book right here is absolutely amazing. So with that, a couple changes other than the obvious. We have my good friend Carl actually inspired me to change the name of the Journey to Greatness. And it's going to be called The Journey of Greatness, because as we were talking, this was probably toward the beginning of last year when we started this journey. I was talking to him and he goes, well, you're already great. He's like, you're already fantastic, right? I'm already fantastic. I'm already great. And I said, yes, you are. And yes, I am. So we're not trying to achieve greatness. And as this book will tell us a little bit later, when we're talking about making these positive affirmations, what those things sound like, what the difference is between making a statement and actually making an affirmation that will turn into a reality for you. This is the journey of greatness. We are on a journey of greatness. We already have arrived. We're already great. So I like that tone a lot better, and I waited for season 2 to release that. So we will go ahead and do that. And And that's pretty much the only change. No, the other change is we will be streaming on Instagram. I just got to get this production stuff all together. It's kind of a lot because I'm running my business and also, focusing on the extra nuances rather than just jumping on camera in my bedroom and just turning everything on real quick and rolling out of bed. So I'm trying to increase my goal here is to have top quality production performance. So not only will we be streaming on Facebook Live, but we'll also be streaming on Instagram, and we'll also be streaming on YouTube. So my goal here is, because I'm not practicing the art of perfection, I have 124 videos uploaded on the Journey to Greatness YouTube page, right? And before, the reason why I didn't get them all uploaded was because I was so concerned about having an intro and just uploading it to the software that edits videos, adding the intro, and then downloading that took like an hour and a half. Then you got to upload it to YouTube, and that takes another hour. And then, it's just a really long-winded process. So I really lost control of all of that. So I said, you know what? Forget it. I don't really care. I'm just going to start uploading videos, and they're just all going to be there. Then I'll go back and rename them. And then anybody who wants to, watch a video for that day, they can watch the video and be inspired accordingly, or just align accordingly. The one realization that I've had over the time we've taken off is, and actually, the one realization I have before we get off here, the one realization I have had is, again, I'll ask you guys, everyone, girls and guys, this question. If I told you if you woke up for 365 days that you would be a millionaire, would you do it? If I told you that if you woke up for 365 days and you journaled, you read, you meditated, and you found time throughout the week, at least 4 days, to work out or be in some type of physical activity where you're moving your body, you become a millionaire, would you do it? That's the question I'm going to pose again for season 2, because it's really important, I feel, that when people ask us about our journey and they say, well, how bad did you want it? How bad did you want it? How bad did you want your life to be different? How bad did you want your life to be ultra ordinary? And my answer to that question is, go look at the Journey to Greatness YouTube page, right? There's 365 videos there of me mentally being in the zone, me mentally preparing and priming myself every single day to be in a top performance state, Now, understand that journey, that 365 days, I haven't seen too many people doing that. So for you and for me to be on that journey and to do this actually means a lot. Who does it mean a lot to? It means a lot to us. And especially because we're not competing against anybody, the beautiful thing about it is it's only going to show your dedication, and it's only going to allow us to attract more people to the space of self-development, self-help, living our best lives ever, and realizing our highest potential, which is ultimately my goal in life. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the first day back of season of the Journey of Greatness, season 2 with David McDonald, the GOAT. And I will see you all tomorrow at 5 a.m. I'm excited to continue on this journey and make today the best day of your life. And I will see you all tomorrow. See you. Oh, Grant, what's going on? I seen you. Good morning, brother. Good to see you. AJ, good morning. Happy holidays to you too.